The number one tip, and this isn't in a real particular order, is finding clients. So the first thing I want to confirm is I'm guessing somebody in this room went to law school because you want to make a lot of money and want to be financially secure. Is that true? Can I get at least, okay, we have at least a couple honest people here. So what I'm going to tell you, kind of a secret because we never learned this in law school, but if you want to make big money, you got to bring in clients. It's the hardest thing you're going to do. There's no class here to tell you that. Nobody tells you that. It's the hardest thing to do. If you find your clients, I don't care what type of law you're practicing, the money will find you. Again, most lawyers won't tell you that. So you will and can get good at the law part, whatever the law is, wills and trusts, divorce, criminal, corporate, whatever it is. But you can't be a good lawyer, you won't be an experienced lawyer without clients. Now, once you get the clients, you need to treat these clients like gold. You need to listen way more than you talk. And you need to give good advice, and you need to respect your clients. And you need to turn them into raving fans. You ever go to a restaurant or a movie or stay in a hotel that you absolutely loved and the service was amazing and you couldn't wait to leave that establishment and tell all your friends and family? That's how I think about my law firm every single day. And it's worked. And I believe that's one reason we are so darn successful. The last biggest piece of advice about getting clients is whether or not you should keep the client. And I remember in ethics class they said that, if you and your clients don't agree on an outcome, don't take that client. It made no sense when I was in law school. It makes sense 30 years later. If you and your client don't agree on the outcome, refer them out or close their file. I learned that one the hard way. But if you don't agree on the outcome, and it could be your only client, it's going to be a disaster if you continue to represent that person. So how do you get clients? You start right now. My friend Vince, who I went to law school with, who's in the back, said that he thought when I graduated law school I had already a bunch of cases. I don't think that's true, but it's kind of funny. But you start here, you start networking. Nobody really knows what networking means when you're here in law school. But the person to your left or the person to your right may send you the biggest case of your whole life. My first job out of law school was with one of my dad's best friends, and actually one of his law clerks. And he took me under his wing because my dad was no longer here, and he offered me a job as a law clerk and a lawyer. And when I passed the bar, I worked for him, and I worked my ass off for 3 years. I started as an associate making $32,000 a year. Now, the hardest part of being any lawyer, including personal injury, is bringing in clients. So I started telling all my friends from law school what I was doing. And one of them started sending me cases. And what I found out was the handling of a personal injury case is fairly straightforward and simple. You're going to get good at that part of it. The hard part is getting that case. So he started referring me cases because he was a collection attorney, and so he had clients, but he didn't know how to work up a personal injury case. And I treated his referrals like family. They never called him and complained about me. They called him and praised me. And the second I settled that case, I ran to his office with a referral check, and I said, thank you, every single time. Now, when I got fired from that first job, yes, I got fired, he was my first call. I said, I got fired and I have no cases and I have nowhere to go. And he says, come to my office right now. This is 3 years after graduating law school, had no cases to myself because the law firm technically keeps them all. He introduced me to his landlord, who gave me an office, a desk, a chair, and a receptionist. I got to share the receptionist, and him and I split the fees 50-50, and I taught him how to practice personal injury law. He paid for the cases because I didn't have any money, and it was a complete and utter win-win. He's now a very successful lawyer in Southfield, practicing personal injury, and we still share cases back and forth. And again, I met him right here in this building. So you don't know who in this room, who in this class will become your best friend, who will become a referral source, a referral partner. But my advice is connect with everyone. Keep in touch. Promote yourself. Share what you're doing when you leave this building. Put your phones down. Talk to people. Now today, when I've been here for a couple hours, I haven't seen too many people on their phones and not talking, but I did see a few walking through the hallway staring at the phone. When I went here in 1989, we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have laptops. we were forced to talk to each other. One other thing I wish I did was I wish I started my brand then. I'm going to give this advice, and probably most of you won't do this, but I wish that when I was sitting here, brand wasn't a word then. Again, we didn't have social media or internet. But like some of you may or may not have seen me on a billboard or a TV commercial over the past 12 years. But I was a pretty successful lawyer before that, just you didn't know who I was. Nobody knew who I was. You see, I was getting my cases from the largest advertiser in Michigan. He would send me thousands of cases every year, and I would send him millions of dollars in referral fees. And then one day in May of 2011, he called me and he says, "Mike, we need to speak now." I knew immediately that another fire was brewing. He came into my office, he sat on my couch, and he says, "We've decided not to send you any more cases. Have a nice day." And he left my office. I was fired again. I remember him leaving, shutting the door, and I just, like, what the heck just happened? I had 30 employees. Am I going to have to start laying off people right now? I decided I was going to go on TV and compete. What else was I going to do? I had 30 families to support. My brand, Mike Wins, started that day, and I wish I would have done it earlier. So my advice today is don't wait for something like that to happen to you. Brand yourself now, and don't be boring. I met some really interesting people in this room just in the few minutes I've been here. Be that Cherry Garcia flavor. Don't be vanilla. Figure out how to be memorable and stand out. Go out there and get professional headshots. Figure out what's cool or unique about you. Set up your LinkedIn and your Instagram and your Facebook and your TikTok. Get your URLs now for your future websites. Who cares if you never use it? They're basically free. Most of you are going to work for a law firm. Some of you may not even open your own shop. But I promise you, if a young lawyer comes into my door with a full brand, with an audience, you don't think I want that person in my firm? So start now. And again, most of you won't. But somebody at the table asked me, how do we get these jobs? Some of these firms get hundreds of resumes. Stand out. Figure that out. Do something creative. Be the one to do that. So few people do it.